studio now with Mr. John Isah. You go by your whole name?
Yeah,
John
sometimes
Isah Walton, or just...
it makes it sound good on documentaries. Be like, yeah, my name's John Isah Walton.
That sound ghetto?
Nah, but John
Yeah.
Isah Walton?
Yeah, it just sounds more biblical.
Yeah,
It
it's
sounds
like,
southern.
it's almost like a Pablo Ruiz, Castillo, Saint Bernard, something with Ruiz at the end. Like it's some kind of Picasso, like European, like Latin stuff,
Yeah.
Spanish stuff, and you're like, what the fuck? Why's your name so long?
Yeah, kind of a matador right there, kind of.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What's going on with these pieces over here?
Oh, I want to capture the energy of the rodeo of Angola,
Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking.
and I wanted to convey a lot of energy with the pink. And I just found I like painting animals, so that's kind of weird but cool at the same time.
Yeah.
And just abstracting the event of live action, movements of humans and animals at the same time.
Yeah, that Angola rodeo is some crazy shit, huh?
Is this the way because they tie the money bag on the bull's head, right?
Yeah, like right here.
Oh yeah. Where's the money bag again?
You know, little chip on their head,
Yeah.
on their head,
And then isn't it the worst prisoners get to risk their life, and if you get it,
Well, actually, it's like a little bit of both, but mostly like people on good behavior get to participate mostly.
okay.
So it's like you got like that A+ on the good behavior card. You didn't shink that guy in the shower.
Yeah.
That even I'm joking. No, but I'm pretty sure you got like the guys that's don't have good behavior, but if you're okay, they want to be in there, they're good rodeo participant. I'm pretty sure they like let them in there.
Okay.
They do their thing. Of course, I've never been to the rodeo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't like going to jail, so I've never been.
Yeah.
Knock on
Maybe
canvas.
Maybe we'll go together because I hadn't been, but I want to check it out.
Yeah, I'll definitely want to go.
Yeah.
I did a whole series about it. Why not?
When distort.
Well, I could go the route of saying when I was like 5, but I'll probably say I have our first show in 2010.
Yeah.
So I could say my.
So all y'all
my
started
career
off. You started off at 5 too, because I ain't started being an artist until I was like 19. I'm a late bloomer.
I think I started when I was definitely 5 or 6, drawing Ninja Turtles circles and stuff with like the little bandana on it, and tracing
Doing
the
all that kind of
magazine
stuff?
stuff. Yeah, and it went from there, and I just kept tracing and then started doing it freehand.
Yeah. These some new pieces, not just getting started.
Oh yeah, definitely be like heavy flesh tones.
Yeah.
Done dramatically. It's gonna be black in the background. It's gonna be like a little bit of that monochromatic, but.
Now tell us a little bit about where you're from and what influences your art.
I'm from here, New Orleans, Louisiana,
Mm-hmm.
and what influences my work is definitely participating in just making contemporary work. Just enjoy, just trying to participate,
Yeah.
create what's around my time and what I find interesting. I don't really have to be anywhere, but I can be everywhere because of the internet. Thank
Yeah.
God. Back in the day, you actually gotta
Go check it out.
check it out yourself, get on the ground. But with enough research, you can definitely infuse yourself in what you try to do. They got people that do pieces about outer space, but they've never been out of space.
Right.
So it's like if you have the fascination and the drive to to research and be a part of it, you can definitely say what you need to say about the topic.
That's true. You could, with the internet, you could just
Sit on YouTube all day and just kind of research whatever you want and kind of
totally. Yeah. Never thought about it like that. That's an interesting piece. Tell us about this.
That came when I had a show going on in North Carolina about Zulu members, but politicians on the right and left wing, as members of the Zulu organization that have floats and stuff for Mardi Gras. It's predominantly black, but they do have white members. But I find it interesting to try to add politicians in it because you never know who's underneath those, the face
mask,
paint and
the
stuff.
face, yeah.
And I always, say like, they always try to draw you something,
Yeah.
And there you go, right here.
Yeah.
And if you asked him to draw me something, Mister, back in the day, I don't think I would be very surprised if people still ask, draw me something, Mister.
Yeah.
In 2016, that's kind of some weird like 1990s, 80s, 70s stuff. That sounds cool back then. But now it's definitely, politicians they'll hop on any bandwagon to do anything to get into office.
Yeah.
So that's where that whole idea came from. When I was a kid, I always wondered like who's underneath the paint. So as an adult, I was invited to be a part of a show. Actually, as a young artist, I was invited to be a part of a show with Bruce Davenport Jr.
What kind of formal training? You go to like university?
I went to Delgado, and I just took the same painting class over and over again because I knew, hey, that's the cheapest way to get a studio.
Right.
And eventually, I had to take a class at City Park, and then I took a sculpture class, and that teacher.
See, that's interesting. So you decided that it wasn't important, or
you know what? Back in 2003, when I first got Delgado, fresh out of high school, my mom, I was trying to go to Florida and become like a animator or a comic book guy. And she's like, no, go to Delgado. And is it like a Delgado ad right here? I'm joking out. So like she was like, hey man, what you see on your couch for? Go out, do something with your life.
Yeah.
But she definitely was like, Delgado definitely had like the best art program, affordable wise.
Yeah.
Did that. 2004, I took a drawing one class. I never had formally trained techniques or nothing like that. So I was definitely like a wild guy drawing. Drawing two, they work with acrylics.
Yeah.
For this one project, and I brought oil paint by accident, and I was trying to figure out why my project wasn't drying fast. And the teacher looked at the piece, got to the last minute, and she was like, she got the other teacher, she came back in with the other teacher, she was like, we know you did this last minute, but this is really good. This is really good. And I was thinking like, whew. So she gave me a pass the whole year to do whatever I wanted, and like a moron, I wasn't like really fully immersed into like painting. That had to be like 2004, 2005.
I just kind of audited all the classes. In other words, I sat in for free. So I don't feel like personally paying a whole lot of money for
Art school is a smart thing to do.
Yeah, I think if you have money to pay for art school, go for your bachelor's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what I basically did, I have enough credits from Delgado to go get a bachelor's degree right now. But it's like, nah, you're a sophomore or junior hybrid or something, I don't know. Because when I applied, they said I was a senior, but then it was like, these credits, nah. And all I did was just take the same class at Delgado, the studio class in the West Bank campus, which they don't offer anymore, I guess.
So you think the school was important, or you think you already had that talent?
Oh
and you just
man, I had
a little bit.
At the painting one, I had an idea that I can do this, and my teacher always talked about. Well, this dude's name is Walter Johnson, and he was the same teacher that taught Dan Tague back in like the 90s. And every time I go in class, he's like, yeah, Dan Tague used to sit right there. Yeah, Dan Tague. And every day I was like, Dan Tague, man, that sounds familiar. And then I was like, wait, Dan Tague, he's on Julia Street, doing a lot of cool shit.
Yeah.
And fast forward, I was like a Dan Tague fan, and I actually met him through Horton Humble, and that was like pretty cool. He's been like a cool, guiding light.
Mentor,
yeah.
I think mentors are more important than school, personally. School.
Yeah.
I think you got to get the books and stuff in your hand and get to work.
Because as soon as you get out, you got to unlearn half of the stuff they taught you already.
Yeah.
And then you got to like relearn the whole process of doing what you need to do for yourself. And
the problem with school for me is they don't teach you how to make no money.
Yeah, exactly.
I love doing art and got into it. I don't know about you. I got into it for the love of it. But then when you turn, you're over 21 now, you got to figure out how to pay bills. And they don't teach you that in school.
Yeah, they don't teach you none of that stuff in school. Because the first thing you have a student art show, they be like, hey, you can put a price. The first thing the student's going to be like, how do you price this? Like, you don't know. Just put like $100. I don't know.
Give us your advice to the kids about pricing.
I would say start off with $200, $250. you start your pieces off 250. They're like a nice size, like this. If it's this size or larger, 250. You know, because you're starting off, and after that you sell a couple and go 500, and then you go 8, and then hopefully by then you have some type of, you know, following. You get a gallery show, you gotta go 50%, so you go 1,000, 500, 500, and you make good work. You can go higher, higher, higher.
Yeah.
You know, you just ask people what your budget is at that point and see what you got in your inventory.
See, that makes a lot of sense. I got a lot of respect for you now. Some of these people, young kids, they go out and put $10,000. Think they just gonna think that one piece they're gonna make them.
Oh man, yeah, you gotta have some people that buy your stuff, man. You're gonna be starving for real. Like, you don't want to be out there starving these streets.
Yeah, got a lot of them out there.
You're gonna be working a job for real.
Well, so you don't work. You just.
Oh yeah, I got a part-time job.
Okay.
Definitely depending on that. So I mean, without the pressure of like having to sell, but it still is a pressure to sell. You know, it's kind of like you get to do whatever you want. You know, I can do a series about Angola. I can do a series about wrestling.
Yeah.
You know, because I have the freedom. I'm not restricted. You know.
Yeah.
It's all open.
All right. Where can people find you at? You got a gallery, website?
With the front, so you can go know the front, or you can Google me. I'm a Googleable person now. I got Wikipedia.
Yeah.
John Isah Walton. Type me in Google.